Hello, Cules. How are you living through this crazy day? Because, Mother of God, the bomb that dropped today in the world of football is not just anything. Imagine the Théâtre du Châtelet in Paris, the lights shining, the global football stars parading on the red carpet, and suddenly, boom, the news that leaves us all speechless. Ousmane Dembélé, PSG's very own crack, the man who flew through this season as if he had rockets in his shoes, is not going to the 2025 Ballon d'Or ceremony. Yes, you heard right. The #1 favorite, the one who scored 35 goals and provided 16 assists as if he were playing FIFA on easy mode, is missing the most important appointment of the year. And of course, the question we're all asking ourselves right now, hearts racing at 1,000 miles per hour, is, does this mean that Lamine Yamal, our blue and garnet prodigy, the 18-year-old kid who revolutionized world football, wins the Ballon d'Or? Hold on tight, Cules, because this is an emotional roller coaster, and I'm going to tell you everything, down to the smallest detail, from Paris to the Velodrome in Marseille. And if you're already freaking out over this exclusive, imagine what's coming next. Subscribe to the channel, because you won't see this on just any news broadcast, and what follows is even bigger. Let's set the scene. It's Monday, September 22nd, 2025, and the Ballon d'Or ceremony is about to begin in a few hours, at 8 p.m. Paris time. The atmosphere is electric. Social media is buzzing, journalists are running in all directions, and Cule fans, like us, are glued to their phones, waiting for the slightest crumb of information. Everything seemed ready for an epic duel between Dembélé, the Cule who now shines at PSG, and our Lamine Yamal, the wonderful boy who brought the Camp Nou to its feet in every match. But suddenly, as if the screenwriter of this movie was having a bad day, the news breaks. PSG has a match against Olympique de Marseille, the French Classico, at the exact same time as the ceremony. Oh. Yes, Cules. Fate wanted a storm in Marseille to force the postponement of the Sunday match to Monday evening. And of course PSG, with up to 9 Ballon d'Or nominees, including Vitinha, Akraf, Hakimi, Fabian Ruiz, and Nuno Mendes, decided to prioritize football over the ceremony's lights. All the players called up for the match are staying in Marseille, and Dembélé, although injured, doesn't seem to be making the trip to Paris either. What kind of Hollywood-worthy plot twist is this? Let me describe the scene for you. Dembélé had a scandalous season. 35 goals, 16 assists, Champions League winner with PSG, League One champion, and a performance that made even the toughest haters bow down. The guy was a machine, with impossible dribbles, supersonic speed, and that ability to appear at the right moment, as if he had a radar for the goal. But wait, it's not that simple. Dembélé has been carrying a right hamstring injury for a few weeks, keeping him out until October. That means he's not playing against Marseille, and in theory, he could hop on a private jet, land in Paris, and pick up his Ballon d'Or with a grin from ear to ear. However, the latest information we're getting from France, via L'Equipe and Le Parisien, says that PSG doesn't want any trouble, no exceptions, no last-minute trips. If the team is in Marseille, everyone is in Marseille, injured or not. And that's where the intrigue begins. If Dembélé isn't at the ceremony, it's because he knows he's not going to win. Or perhaps it's because PSG simply doesn't want to risk a media circus. Cules, this is hotter than a paella in August. And now, let's talk about our hero, Lamine Yamal, because we're going to see, if Dembélé isn't going, who's left as the big favorite? Exactly, the kid from Mataro, the one who wears the number 19 on his back and carries Barca's future in his shoes. Lamine had a season that seems like it came straight out of a dream. 21 goals, 26 assists, European champion with Spain, La Liga champion with Barca, and an impact on the game that left everyone speechless. Do you remember that incredible goal against Real Madrid in the Clasico? That's Lamine, the impossible, leaving 3 defenders on the ground as if they were training cones, then placing it in the top corner. Or that threaded pass in the Euro final, leaving Olmo alone to score. Lamine isn't just a player, he's a phenomenon. At his age, he's rivaling the greatest, and the 180 journalists who vote for the Ballon d'Or know it. But of course, Dembélé's absence from the ceremony isn't an automatic guarantee that Lamine wins the trophy. There are other factors at play, and I'm going to break them down for you as if I were Xavi explaining a tactic on a board. Let's first talk about the narrative. The Ballon d'Or isn't just about stats, even though Dembélé's and Lamine's are insane. It's also about story, media impact, and who made the difference at key moments. Dembélé has the weight of winning the Champions League with PSG, being the absolute leader in a team full of stars, something the voters can't ignore. But Lamine has his own argument, the Euros. Being the best young player of the tournament, leading Spain to glory, and doing it with a maturity that doesn't match his age, is out of this world. Additionally, Barça has become competitive again in Europe, and Lamine has been the spark of this resurgence. And what about the emotional factor? Lamine is the prodigy, the Maja kid, the one with cool DNA in his blood. Dembélé, on the other hand, we all know how he left Barcelona, with more shadows than lights. That could cost him. Now, let's talk about the voters, because they have the final say. The 180 journalists who choose the Ballon d'Or winner come from all corners of the planet, from Argentina to Japan. And each has their own criteria. But there's one thing they all look for: impact. It's not enough to score goals or win titles. You have to leave a mark on football. And here, Lamine has an advantage. His story is irresistible. An 18-year-old kid from Asia, who led Barça to a league title and Spain to a Euro victory, all while being watched by the whole world. It's as if football found its new prodigy, and the journalists know it. But Dembélé isn't far behind. His leadership in the Champions League with PSG, with decisive goals in the semi-final against Dortmund and in the final against Bayern, is the kind of narrative that seduces voters. And although his past at Barça wasn't a fairy tale, his redemption in Paris sells well. The question is, will Lamine's youth and potential weigh more than Dembélé's crowning achievement? In the newsrooms of European media, the bets are divided. In England, for example, The Guardian favors Lamine, highlighting his generational magic. In France, L'Equipe defends Dembélé tooth and nail, saying he is the soul of PSG's championship team. And in Spain, you can imagine Mundo Deportivo and Sport are in full Lamine mode, with front pages that look like superhero movie posters. Another detail that's getting a lot of attention is the role of France Football, the ceremony organizers. Because, Cules, don't think this is just an event to hand out trophies. There's a business behind it, and the absence of PSG is a headache for them. Imagine the logistics. Months of preparing a ceremony with stars from all over the world, and suddenly, one of the most powerful clubs stays away because of a match. According to sources close to the organization, cited by ESPN, France Football tried to negotiate with Ligue 1 to push back the OM-PSG match by a few hours, but there was no way. The storm that forced the postponement of the Sunday match to Monday was an unforeseen event no one saw coming. And now, the organizers are crossing their fingers that the ceremony doesn't lose its shine. Because let's be honest, if Dembélé wins and isn't there, the award moment will be like a joke without a punchline. And if Lamine wins, but PSG sends no one, the narrative of the Parisians boycotting the ceremony will make all the headlines. That's why there are rumors that France Football is preparing a plan B, like a live connection with Marseille if Dembélé wins the award. Imagine Ousmane live from the Velodrome bench, giving a speech via Zoom. It would be epic, but also a bit weird, right? Meanwhile, in Barcelona, the city is experiencing a Blaugrana fever we haven't seen since the Guardiola era. Schools are full of kids wearing Lamine jerseys, and the teachers, who are also Cules, let the students talk about the ceremony in class. On the Ramblas, street artists are spray-painting portraits of Lamine, and there's even a group of musicians who improvised a song with lyrics like, "Lamine, Lamine, the king of Camp Nou." In the markets, like La Boqueria, vendors are offering discounts to customers who shout, "Visca el Barça." It's madness, Cules, but it's our madness. And at the Camp Nou, even though there's no match today, the club has opened its doors so that members can watch the ceremony on the stadium's big screens. The management knows that if Lamine wins, it'll be a bigger party than the 2006 Champions League celebration. And if he doesn't win, well, we'll love him just the same, because this kid is our future. By the way, we can't forget Ronaldinho, because his presence at the ceremony is like a magnet for Cules. Ronnie isn't just a legend, he's a symbol of what it means to play with joy. And this morning, in an interview with Vin Sports, he dropped a gem that got everyone talking. When asked who he'd like to present the Ballon d'Or to, he said, "To someone who makes the world dream, like I tried to do." Who was he referring to? Lamine, with his audacity and magic, or Dembélé, who rediscovered that touch of genius we saw in his best days? No one knows, but what's clear is that Ronaldinho will be the center of attention tonight. And if Lamine wins, Cules, get ready for the moment. Ronnie handing the trophy to our Canterano, the Theatre du Châtelet on its feet, and the Camp Nou exploding miles away. Just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. Finally, let me tell you a bit more about what's happening on social media, because X is on fire. Qs are organizing endless threads with stats, videos, and arguments to defend Lamine. There's one that went viral, from a user who compared Lamine's and Dembélé's goals in key moments. And the conclusion is that our guy has a gift for showing up when it matters most. But PSG fans aren't staying quiet. They're posting edits of Dembélé celebrating the Champions League win with captions like, "The real king doesn't need to be at the ceremony." And then there are the neutrals, enjoying the show like it's a boxing match. In the middle of all this, the memes won't stop. There's one showing Lamine and Dembélé as two gladiators in the Colosseum, with Ronaldinho as the referee, and another with Lamine wearing a crown and the text, "When PSG doesn't show up, but you're the boss." Qs, this is football in its purest form. Passion, rivalry, and a touch of humor. So, if you're living this madness as much as I am, don't hesitate, subscribe to the channel, because we'll keep bringing you all the exclusives, details, and laughs that make supporting Barca a unique adventure. Come on, Lamine. Come on, Barca. And may this night be ours.